If your portfolio isn't landing you consistent, high-paying clients, there's probably something wrong with it. And in this video, I want to go over 3 fixes that can get you to the clients you deserve. The first thing that I want to talk about is that good images aren't enough. For a long time, I thought that getting better at photography would get me better clients. That's just not the reality of it. We talked about this in the last video about how you need to create a portfolio that's clean, consistent, professional, and repeatable. What does that actually mean? And how does that actually translate into getting the clients that you want to work with? A hard lesson that I had to figure out is that my favorite images aren't my clients' favorite images. I can spend all the time putting together a lighting scheme and making sure that I have the right equipment and spend an hour and a half on a retouch. And I love this image because of the experience that I had making it, or the experience I had with the person on the other side of the camera. But that doesn't mean that the client has that same level of respect or value for that image. Clients hire you because they believe you can solve a problem. If you're just putting together a portfolio of pretty images that don't have any context or clarity or consistency, then you're relying on them to figure out how you can help them, which is the worst place that you want to be as a photographer. And guess what? They won't. They'll go somewhere else. They'll find a different photographer. I was going to say better. Better isn't the right word. Different photographer who makes solving their problems easier for them. So if your portfolio is just a slideshow of pretty pictures without any context, strategy, or storytelling, you're relying on them to figure out how you as a photographer can help them. And they won't. It's not their job to figure it out. It's your job as a photographer to show them how you can help solve their problems. So whether your portfolio is a physical book or a digital website, there has to be some sort of narrative. You have to be able to present your work in a way that lets this client see what you can do for them and see how your imagery can help move the needle for their business. If it's just a random dump of pictures, they're not going to play detective. That's not how this game works. It's like watching a movie trailer with no plot. It's just a bunch of pretty pictures. And pretty pictures are fun, but when a client is sorting through 2, 3, 5 different photographers for a job, they want the guy that when they open the portfolio, they go, oh, this guy gets it. There's story, there's context, there's narrative, there's emotion. This guy can help me move my business forward. You need to create a portfolio with a purpose and with a narrative. Sometimes that means creating a portfolio specifically for a job. And that's where case studies come in. More and more over the last several years, I have seen a shift towards the case study model of portfolio. So you have your general overview on your website, which shows a broad range of what you can do. A case study is more than a gallery. A case study is a top to bottom overview of a project for a client. So there should be some sort of written context about what was the goal of the project? What were you trying to deliver? Did you have difficulties overcoming anything? And ultimately, this group of images is what you delivered for that client. And did those images meet the expectations at the beginning? And if you can show that, you can build so much trust and authority and credibility in getting new clients. So how do we fix this problem with our portfolio? I think the first step is that we have to curate better. We have to realize that our portfolio isn't a showroom. It's a sales tool. You have to have each image earn its spot in that portfolio. You have to look at it and say, does this image align with the work that I want more of? Does this show consistency and polish? And would I be proud to show this work to my dream client? If an image ticks all 3 of those things, it belongs in your portfolio. Fix number 2 would be creating client-specific portfolios. If I'm pitching a company like SpaceX, they don't need to see my dog section or my kid section. They need to see executives and they need to see workers. And with that, they need to see storytelling and context and inspiring imagery. I would send them any corporate work I have, any commercial work, and maybe even some of my editorial work. And step number 3 would be adding context. If you did a campaign that drove real results for your clients, you should say that. If you've worked with big brands, put their logo on your website. If you overcame a certain obstacle on a shoot, talk about that. That's building credibility for you as an artist and a creative and a team lead. And that's how you go from $500 gigs to $25,000 clients. You have to show that you can do more than just take a pretty picture. So how do we wrap this all up? Your portfolio isn't just a place to store images. It's a sales tool. It's a trust builder. It's a conversation starter. If it's not landing you clients or the clients that you want, it's probably not speaking to them correctly. So you have to go back, reevaluate, what does my portfolio look like? Who are the clients that I want to work with? And how can I create this tool to best represent what I can do for them, the problems that I can solve for them? So here's your action plan. Curate ruthlessly. Organize by outcome, not by ego, and add context to build trust. And as always, this channel is meant to be a conversation. So if you need help defining what your portfolio is, or defining the images that should go into it so that it creates a clear, consistent, and professional message, leave me a comment, shoot me a DM. I'm happy to help you however I can. Until the next one.